And then I said, Max Holloway versus Frankie Edgar is this weekend. UFC 240 main event. The featherweight belt, 145 belt is on the line. Okay? And it's horrible. It's a terrible fight. And it's a terrible fight with an obvious outcome. Holloway's gonna win. Okay? A lot of people out there, which I like to call the Hail Marys, okay, are gonna put their pick on Edgar because they put their pick on every fucking underdog. Because guess what? When the guy loses, no one cares about them. But when the guy wins in 1 in 100 fights that they bet on, all of a sudden they look like geniuses. There is no way anyone in their right mind can say that Frankie Edgar is going to win this fight. Okay? It just doesn't add up to me. It doesn't add up to me. Okay? I just don't see it. Frankie Edgar, blown up bantamweight. I know he's fought at lightweight. Holloway, anorexic lightweight. Alright? Let's be real on the way it is here. Okay? Holloway's coming off a loss. I think this is the best thing that's ever happened to Holloway in his entire career. Okay? When you're on a win streak for so long, like Max Holloway was, what do you need? You need a fucking kick up the arse is what you fucking need. Okay? Because eventually you get lacking motivation. Okay? I'm beating everyone. I'm the best. No one can beat me. I can take this day off. But I'm on a 13 fight win streak or whatever the fuck it was. I'm on a massive win streak. I can have that sandwich. I don't mind. Bread? Yeah, I'm okay with that. Let's do it. I don't need to run. I'm the best. You lose, all of a sudden, you're back in action, okay? You're back in action, firing on all cylinders, and I'm actually kind of glad that Holloway's taken this fight on reasonably short turnaround. He took some damage in the Poirier fight. He took some little bit of time, and he's straight back in there against Frankie Edgar. I love it. I love it. And he's going to beat Frankie Edgar. This is the perfect tune-up fight, okay? And if I get this wrong, I'm going to be embarrassed. I'm going to be embarrassed. Okay? But what I know from Frankie Edgar is when the first fight between them was announced, I thought to myself, this is interesting. Okay? Since that first fight between them got announced, what has happened to Frankie Edgar? It's 2 years later in an aging competitor's career, and he's been knocked out since then. None of that looks good for him. Okay? What has Max Holloway done since their fight? He's pieced up Brian Ortega. He's a guy who's coming into his prime and getting better every time. He's even challenged himself at lightweight and did a damn good job of it, considering it was on short notice and he had to move up a weight class. And he only really put on 10 pounds of body fat. It just doesn't add up for Frankie Edgar, man. It really doesn't. I know Frankie Edgar has great ways of finding his way on the inside and whipping shots over the top. To do that, you need to close the distance. Nobody, arguably, in the history of UFC, has distance management like Max Holloway. The only way I can see Frankie Edgar winning is perhaps the weight cut being a bit too much for Holloway. Now he's gone to 55. Is the body... Remember the last time Holloway tried to make 55 and then go back down to 45 was the first time he had those symptoms. I have brain damage. Give me a second. Symptoms. What was I even saying? I got so focused on the word, I just don't even know what I'm saying now. The last time he tried to go to 55 and then back down to 45, he showed the symptoms of the brain damage that he did against Brian Ortega, which ended up with him having to pull out of that fight, if you remember correctly. Okay, UFC 220, I believe it was. No? Yes. UFC 220. It was a good one. It was a really, really good one. I don't know if it was UFC 220. I'm starting to think UFC 220 was Ngannou versus Stipe. UFC 223! I'm good. I'm good. I'm very good. UFC 223, you had to pull out against Brian Ortega. And you kind of thought to yourself, right, well, is this the end of Max Holloway? I'm wondering if he shows those same symptoms again. But I don't think he will. Okay, I think he's a savage. And I think he's going to beat Frankie Edgar. And there's only one way Frankie Edgar can win. And that's probably to knock out Holloway. He's not going to take him down. Hold your tongue. Hold your fucking tongue. Frankie Edgar will not take down Max Holloway. Okay? He won't. no matter how good of a wrestler he is, he may get Holloway down for a brief period of time. But Holloway's going to get right back up, because let me tell you this. If Dustin Poirier, who's arguably a big 155er at this point, even though he used to make 45, he's now a big 55er, can't take down Max Holloway with 10 pounds of body fat on him, 10 pounds of extra body fat on him, Frankie Edgar, regardless of skill level, Holloway's takedown defense is fucking legit, man. His takedown defense is savageness, okay? And he's an absolute beast. And I think he's going to destroy Frankie Edgar in similar fashion to Ortega, but I think it may be done in the second round. Okay, Edgar's chin won't be the same. The last guy Frankie Edgar beat to warrant this title shot, by the way, the last guy he beat to warrant himself a title shot was Cub Swanson? Cub Swanson! You know Cub Swanson, that guy that earns you a title shot. That guy who's no longer ranked. That guy who's lost to literally every single person he's stepped in a fucking cage with since he lost to Frankie Edgar. Holloway wins. First round KO. Second round KO. One of those. One of those. He's going to get the job done. Frankie Edgar, get out of here, man. I'm going to look real stupid if Frankie Edgar somehow clips Holloway and puts him out. If Edgar has the fucking power that Stevens doesn't. If Edgar has the power that Poirier at 55 doesn't. Imagine a world where Edgar wins. I can't imagine a world where Edgar wins this fight. So, fuck it. Holloway's going to get it done in the first 2 rounds. Get ready. Get your lube. Because it's time to explode. This is the only interesting fight on UFC 240. Like and subscribe. Click that button right there. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.